The drum opera. I mean, that was really kind of inspired originally by Chris Murphy to me, suggesting why don't I write a drum piece for the beginning of an INXS concert tour, you know, to open up the stage set with that, and have, you know, me kind of just developing this big kind of theatrical drum moment. I mean, there's always, you know, such a big part of the drum sound in INXS, and generally in lots of rock music. You know, obviously drums are a central part of that, and to sort of start the show with this big kind of building kind of, you know, suspense, you know, really, you know, high suspense drum thing was where it started from, and from there decided to go in the studio and record it. I was actually sitting at a dinner party at my house, and I was kind of like staring into space. I guess I was starting to run through it in my mind, you know, how I'd prepare this. And I remember Kerry, my wife, looking over, sort of nudging me, like, you know, come back. We were trying to have dinner, you know. And that was the point where I decided, look, I'm going to go in the studio and record this thing, and we'll call it the Drum Opera, just as a working title. And the next day, you know, basically went straight in the studio and just put it down.
I noticed that it features the three Farriss brothers. And was that deliberate? Is it?
Well, what ended up happening with the recording of the Drum Opera was, I mean, I ended up doing it all simply because I had the image in my mind and in my head of how I wanted it to sound, and basically played all the parts and wrote it right there on the spot, with the intention of, you know, giving some of the parts to Andrew and Tim to play on stage. But what ended up happening was, well, the original recording was about 5.5 minutes long, so it was quite long, and it was, you know, too long. But it was really perfect sort of length for stage, for a performance on stage. And so over the past few months, I've just been editing down until we've got into a sort of what's a reasonable length, I think, to put on an album. And Tim and Andrew basically, you know, replace those parts on stage. But the actual recording is all me, basically layering it, overdubbing.